Lamar Jackson, is he to blame what?
Boy.
He's to blame for the loss yesterday? Is that what, did you just say yes to that? Did you let me finish the question, Steve?
Of course not. I thought Lamar played a good. We got to get over this. It's like every time there's a quarterback that's considered elite that becomes this polarizing figure for whatever reason, he has to play a perfect game. He has to be Don Larson. And then even if he does pitch that perfect game, it becomes, well, they lost. You know, I don't get this. It's like someone pointed this out to me. I remember watching it. Everyone remembers Joe Montana's coming out moment nationally, the catch, which, by the way, was the same play, sprint right option. Okay, everyone runs that play near that part of the field. Dwight Clark makes the iconic catch over Everson Walls. It makes the cover of Sports Illustrated, and the Niners become the 80s team. Has anyone ever actually seen the box score for that game? Joe Montana turned the ball over at least 5 times. So, again, was Joe Montana great, or was he great when it mattered, or did his team just happen to find a way to win? Now, look, the first half is the first half. Lamar did what he did, but I thought he was really good in the second half. And as the Buffalo offense, as I like to say, went into Rush Limbaugh mode because they were ultra conservative, acting like they had a 31-0 lead. And look, there's also an argument that Lamar on that 2-point conversion, there's people that played football like Sean King, not Martin Luther Cream, but the quarterback, who said, hey, Lamar didn't actually execute that all that well. But again, the ball was dropped. With that being said, I didn't look at that game and say, God, Lamar, he blew it. I didn't look at it that way. And he's still an elite quarterback. But we've got to get over this thing, how the fortunes of a 45-man roster in the ultimate team game are decided by one person.
Steve, I totally agree with you, and that's why I was shocked this morning when our guy TJ Moe here was trying to point a finger of blame at Lamar Jackson.
Sorry to make an accurate assessment that we've always done throughout all of history. I thought your monologue was very compelling. I would make a different point, though, because I think everything you said I totally agree with. Here's what I'd say. I don't want Ryan Clark to affect me either way. I still want to be able to evaluate the game properly. And evaluating the game properly means saying what I think is obvious. It is not Lamar Jackson's fault that the comeback fell short. It's Lamar Jackson's fault that they needed a comeback in the first place. 3 straight drives. They only got 8 drives in the entire game. Okay, 3 straight drives. They scored a touchdown in the first one. Then he threw a pick. Then he fumbled. And then he took a bad sack down by the goal line where they had to settle for a field goal instead of taking 7 points, to where they were down at halftime when they should not have otherwise been. That is when we talk about a guy like he's the best player that exists and was going on his 3rd straight MVP potentially, we should be able to properly evaluate, hey, he blew the first half and had to play really well, which he did in the second half.
That's football, and sometimes the interception was just a bad pass. The fumble, byproduct of a bad snap, poor blitz pickup, DeMar Hamlin right in his lap, and it's an inadvertent, it's just a mistake. But that's what happens during the course of a game, and then he started making all kinds of plays that put them back in the game to the point, and I saw Coach JB, Steve, trying to blame Lamar for not throwing that football on time to Mark Andrews. Miss me with all that. He put it in the guy's lap on the goal line. Mark Andrews has to make that catch.
Guys, we want to assign blame. I got a name, and he's done an excellent job of coordinating this offense, Todd Monken. Why in the world, in the biggest game of the season, are you putting Derrick Henry on layaway like a Cavaricci sweater at Chess King? You had to understand, especially in the third quarter, he was rolling downhill, and then you have that little scat back or smaller one in Hill, and I'm thinking, Buffalo's getting shoved around. They should go to some heavy personnel, maybe some 12 sets. This is a game where you look at the big Bama Slammer and you say, listen, big boy, we're trying to get somewhere. You're going to take us there. You're getting 25 carries minimum. I thought, again, and I get it, you have an MVP, you have a quarterback that is that guy. But at certain points of the game, you have to dance what's going to bring you to the next level, the next round. And in my view, that was Derrick Henry. He should have been fed that ball all throughout the second half.
How they didn't run the ball on the original two-point conversion.
Yeah.
One they missed, I believe, in the third quarter. How they didn't run the ball there blew my mind. They were gashing them. And I was like, and now 2.5, 3 yards, you don't trust Derrick Henry or Lamar Jackson? You're throwing the ball there? I thought that was incredible. I thought that was like, they just came out of character. You just broke character. You're running the ball that Buffalo can't stop your run. I did think that was silly and stupid. Steve, what do you think of my take? And I am pin here I am saying don't pin the blame on Lamar Jackson, but I am saying, hey, let's pin the blame on Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark and ESPN and all the race guys that turn everything into a racial dispute. I think he's hurting people from enjoying Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's really likable. He's really talented. He's playing at a high level. And people are rooting against him because they don't want to hear Ryan Clark come on TV and wag his finger and tell, oh, it's the black quarterback, this, the black. When there's never been in my lifetime, and I say this and all, and look, position was dominated by white quarterbacks. But I never heard a conversation about how great the white quarterbacks were during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And hey, it's a white quarterback era, and only a white person can play it. But we're doing that on the other side, and people are rooting against, hey, man, I don't want Ryan Clark wagging his finger at me and trying to prove that I'm inferior and blacks are superior, and if it wasn't for racism, everything would be different. They just don't want to hear it, so they root against Lamar Jackson.
There's no doubt that he has stirred the division. He is the chef of that meal. And here's the thing. In the era of social media, when everyone has a voice or a platform of different sizes, everyone's going to be able to chime in immediately. And Jason, I thought it was unfortunate that right after the game, on my timeline, these people who were pretty neutral, but if they lean a political direction or culturally have certain feelings, whether they're black or white, you almost start to not root against or for Buffalo or Baltimore. It became either we want Lamar Jackson because of this agenda, or we hate this agenda and we'd rather have Josh Allen. And I think that's unfortunate. The bottom line is this. I give Lamar credit. I've never actually heard him that much try to push this agenda. This guy just wants to play ball. And I think he even realizes, hey, my time in the league, I'm now on the second half of it. I'm still in my physical prime, but I don't have 30 years here. These careers are relatively short and they go fast, and the window to win can shut immediately. And I think he realized this was a golden opportunity. But there's no doubt about it is that I think with all this rhetoric and then some of the anti-Josh Allen stuff that we've heard from people like Dominic Foxworth 3 years ago, it creates this festering and lingering emotion. And there's a lot of people who are sick of the white guilt that's been doled out the last 4 years, that they may be neutral in a lot of things involving football. But I guarantee you, this is just my feeling, that people who have no association with the Ravens or Bills, they overtly became Bills/Josh Allen fans because of this discussion that's been jammed down our throat for at least 2 to 3 years.
If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.